Hello guys, hope you all doing well. Welcome to our C++ tutorial, basic C++ tutorial. So today we are going to be looking at for loops. We are going to be looking at loops. This is what we are going to be looking at. Now we have different kinds of loops. We have for loops, we have while loops, we have do while loops, and also in our next tutorial we will be covering the if statements. So let me quickly jump into the first one, which is for loops. Now guys, for loops, they work in a way that, let's say you have been given we have been tasked to print a certain number of times. Let's say maybe you have been tasked to print 10 names of the students. Now it will be a waste of time to print 10 names of the students like this. Let's say maybe Tabiso. You end your line, then you print another student. Let me just quickly do this. Let me just say here maybe it's Moses. Here it's Gonde. Here is Tembelihle. Here is Toriso. Here is Jabulani. Here it's Makondo. Now this is going to waste your time, guys, printing names like this. Or let's just say, let's make an easy example that we will be able to execute in our program. Let's say this is going to be a 1. Let's say maybe you have been tasked to print a certain number of numbers. Let's say maybe you have been tasked to print 10 numbers on the screen or less numbers on the screen. 5, 6. Let's just end here on the sixth one, so that our program won't be long. Now in this way, guys, on printing numbers like this, on printing name like this, it is going to consume the memory of your program. It is going to consume the memory of even your computer or whatever IDE that you are going to be using. It is going to load in a slower way. But then in order for you guys to write a program that is simple, write a program that is efficient, a program that is quicker to run, and a program that is easy to understand, you can use a one line of code, or there's a way that you can do this thing, which is to go the route of for loops. Now here it is going to print 1 2 3 4 5 6. But then when you want to print these guys in an easy way, you can use a for loop. As you can see here, it's 1 2 3 4 5 6. But now guys, we want an easy way of printing this. We want an easy way of doing this. Now we can use our for loop. Now our for loop contains 3 parameters, or it contains 3 statements inside our parameters. We have one parameter, which is our bracket. Here is a parameter. Then inside our parameter, we have 4 statements, or I mean 3 statements that are being executed. We have the first one, we have the second one, we have the third one. Now how do they work? Initially here you initialize your variables. It is where you initialize your variables, any variables. This I is any variable. You can do B, you can do C, you can do average, you can do count. It is up to you guys what you name your variables. But in this case we are going to leave it like this. In this case we are going to let it be I, which I it is equals to 0. Then it is going to iterate, guys. It is going to loop. How many times do we want our for loop to loop? We want it to loop or to execute a number of times. Now this is where the length comes into the place. This is where our length comes into the place. Now we have our I here, which is equals to 0. How many times do we want it to execute? We want it to execute 6 times. Now it is going to say I it is less than 6. A number that is less than 6, it is a 5. Now our I it is going to iterate 5. It is going to iterate 6 times, but it's going to print our numbers from 0 up until 5. Now let's get to the last one on our parameters. Now this one, it is an increment, guys. It always increment this one. It only increment what you have initialized initially. So what's going to happen here is that our I it is equals to 0. So now what is going to happen, it is going to increment by 1. This is like this, guys. It is I equals to I plus 1. Now what's going to happen here, initially this is going to be our 0. Now it is going to say, our program is going to say 0 plus 1, which is equals to 1, which is equals to 1. Now here, instead of having 0, it is going to increment and say it is 1. Now it iterates like that, guys, up until our I is less than 6. This is what we control our for loop with. This is where we tell our for loop that no, this is enough. Now we can stop. This is enough. Now we can conclude. Do you understand? So this is what we are going to do. We are going to initialize our variable, which is I 0. Now we are going to have the statement here, guys. Let's say we have a statement 1, we have a statement 2. now I hope I'm not rushing. Now this for loop is going to check, is going to execute the statement, and after it is going to go inside this bracket and execute the statement 1, execute the statement 2. But in this case we are only going to be using only one statement, which is count. We want to print our I. Now we want to get I, our I, we want to get our I, which is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why is it going to end on 5? It is because of this 5 with this 6 here. A number that is less than 6, it is equals to 5. But then if we want to print a number that is equals to 6, then here we are going to put an equal sign. But then first of foremost, let's start by printing from 0 to 5. Let's just run our program. Now if you can check here, our program is infinite. It means we have an error. Let's check our error, guys. There we go. Our for loop is unable to increment because of what? We have hard coded this. But if ever we said here is an I, it was going to run smoothly. Let's quickly check it. You can see, guys, it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It means our program runs perfectly. So it means our program runs smoothly. So then here it's like it is up to you whether you write it like this or you write it like this, plus. You won't be penalized. Now if you can check, let's do that one and say I is less than or equals to 6. Now remember our last execution, it ran from 0 up until 5. Now this time around we want it to run from 0 up until 6, which means it is going to run 7 times. Let's run our program. There we go. It's 0 1 2 3 4 5 6. You understand? But our program ran 7 times. Why? Because it starts from 0. Now it's 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So this is how you write your for loop, guys. This is how you write your for loop. This is, remember guys, here is where you initialize. It's up to you whether you initialize. If you initialize your variable inside your for loop, it means you'll only be able to use your for loop inside your loop. Like you can't use this int outside your loop like this. Maybe say, let's say, maybe let's cut this. Let's quickly cut this, and we are going to get an error here. Why? It is because of our I is not initialized outside the for loop. But you can quickly do that and initialize our I outside the for loop. Even that way it still works. It's int I. Our error is gone. Why? Because of this I now is initialized in the whole program that you are going to write in your main function. It is initialized. But now this is not going to print anything because now this I is outside the loop. Now let's put it back here so that it can run. So now you can see it prints the numbers that we are looking for. So let's quickly jump into the while loops. While loops, guys, they work like this. They are very simple. They work with the boolean. A boolean, guys, is a true or false statement. Now let's say when this statement is true. Now when our statement is true, this loop is going to come into this bracket and execute whatever that is found here. Whatever that is found here, it is going to be executed. Now here, what do we have here? We have our conditional statement. Now remember, guys, in our for loop, what we had is a structure like this. Now here is what we initialize in. We initialize our program. Here we tell our program where to stop, where to end, which means this is our conditional statement. This is our conditional statement, and this is where it increments. Now all these guys, they are needed in for loop. Now how are you going to do this? How are we going to achieve this? Let's quickly delete this. Now we are going to initialize our variable or our I outside the for loop. Now what are we looking for? This is our condition. We are going to say I is less than 6. We want to print 6 numbers. Remember, guys, it is going to start from 0 up until 5. Why up until 5? Because a number that is less than 5 is less than 6. It's a 5. Do you guys understand? I hope you guys following me. Now, guys, what we are left with, what we didn't do is this path. We have this part, which is I is equals to 0. We have it here. Check the difference, guys, on the for loop and the while loop. It's here, that part, but then we have our conditional statement. It is here as well. Remember, this was less than 6. It is here as well, but then we are left with a sentinel. We are left with what we call, what will makes our loop to iterate, what will makes our loop to loop. Do you understand? So here, what are we printing here? We are printing our I. But when we can print our I like this, it is going to be an infinite loop. It is going to be a loop that is not ending. And it is not going to print, it is not going to increment, because we don't have any incrementation in here. We only have 0, which is I. Here is like this, it is 0 like this. But then we didn't hard code it, we put an I like this here. So let's quickly run it this is an error, guys. I just want to run it so that you can see and so that you can understand the difference. So let's quickly run it. Our computer is a bit slower, but then it's running. Just give me a second, guys. The computer is running. You can see it's loading. There we go. There we go, guys. There we go, guys. There we go, guys. You can see in your screen, this is an infinite loop. It only prints 0 and it doesn't have a stop. It only prints 0 and it doesn't have a stop. Now, how do we stop that? How do we sentinel that? How do we sentinel that? Now, I'll always refer to the for loop because the for loop is the easiest one. Now, in for loop, this is your sentinel, guys. This is what increment your loop, and this is what tells your loop that, okay, fine, guys, you have reached number 6. Now you can stop. You understand? It tells your loop that, okay, fine, you have reached this condition, or you have satisfied this condition. Now you can stop. Now we can even copy this and paste it here, because remember, guys, I said this is like writing I equals to I plus 1. This is the same thing, guys. This is a very same thing. Let's execute our program and see what's going to happen. Our program must be able to run smoothly without any error. Our IDE, guys, is a bit slow. Please be patient with me. There we go. There we go. Now it printed 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now it must print 6 times, but then it ends on 5. Why does it end on 5? Because our I is less than 6. Now a number that is less than 6, it's a 5, guys. So this is going to be the end of the lesson today, guys. On our next lesson, we are going to do the do while statements and if statements. Stay tuned, guys, for the next lessons. If you have any question or query, please contact our office.